Who am I? What makes me who I am? Is my body the real me, or is there something beyond my physical existence? These questions lie at the heart of René Descartes' philosophy. Descartes was a 17th century French philosopher, mathematician and scientist. His attempt to discover absolute certainty becomes one of the foundations of modern Western philosophy. His famous discourse on the method, published in 1637, Descartes introduced a radical method of doubt. His idea was simple. If something can be doubted, I should temporarily doubt it. Can I trust my sense? Not completely. Our senses sometimes deceive us. Can I trust my experiences? What if I am dreaming? But then Descartes discovers something he cannot doubt. If I am doubting, I am thinking. And if I am thinking, I must exist as a thinking being. This is where his famous statement comes from, "Quatigo ergo sum." I think, therefore I am. He develops his argument most famously in his Meditations on a First Philosophy, published in 1641. The Quatigo gives Descartes a starting point for a certainty. I may doubt the world, but I cannot doubt what I am thinking. And he brings us to one of the Descartes' most important ideas, mind and body. In his philosophy, Descartes distinguishes between two fundamentally different kinds of substance. The first is a recognitance, the thinking substance, and this is the mind. And the mind can think, doubt, imagine, understand, remember, and desire. The second is re-extensa, the extended substance. This is the body and the physical world. The body occupies a space, it has a size, shape and physical properties. So Descartes argues that mind thinks, body occupies a space. The position becomes known as a Cartesian dualism or mind-body dualism. Imagine you decide to raise your hand. First you have to thought, I want to raise my hand, and then your physical hand moves. But how does a thought? A mental experience causes a physical movement, and when your body is injured, why does your mind experience pain? This is Descartes' attempts to explain the interaction between mind and body, famously associating their interactions with the pineal gland in the brain. But the theory raised an even bigger philosophical question. If the mind and body are fundamentally different, how can they interact with each other? And this question has never completely disappeared. Even today, neuroscience and philosophy continue to debate. How does consciousness arise from the physical brain? If consciousness nothing more than a brain activity, or is the experience of being conscious something fundamentally different? That is why Descartes remain relevant. But there is another important point. Descartes was not an existentialist. Existentialism comes much later through the philosophers such as Kierkegaard, Nietzsche, Heidegger, Sartre and Camus. It is an interesting philosophical connection. Descartes asks, how can I know that I exist? His answer, I think, therefore I am. Existentialism asks something different. I exist, but what I am going to do with my existence? So, the journey moves from a certainty to meaning. From I think, therefore I am, to I am, but who will I become? Perhaps that is why Descartes still matters in the modern world. We live surrounded by information, opinions, and people telling us what to believe. Descartes gives us one powerful intellectual habit: question. Question what you believe, question what you assume, question what you have been told is true. But once we question everything, another responsibility appears. We still have to choose how we will live. So perhaps the biggest philosophical question is not simply who am I, but who am I becoming? This is a Little Talks. Think deeply, question everything, and never stop asking what it means to exist. Thank you.